Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so let's put 5 minutes on the clock and let's get going. Alright guys, so I just want to hit on a few things that have been going on my channel over the last few weeks. I haven't done a 5-minute Friday for a while. So one of the things that happens when you have a YouTube channel is you post a video and then maybe 2 years later, you're still getting comments daily on that video that you shot 2 years ago. And in your memory, it's kind of faded, but people are still viewing it today for the first time. So it's quite a strange thing. And one of the things that happens is you get a lot of people putting the same comment. They don't know they're doing it. They just have the same thought. So one of the ones that keeps coming up is last March, I did a video about a super yacht that sank. It was the largest super yacht to ever sink. It's called Yogi, and it was a 40-meter boat. And I made a 4-part series about it. It's been very popular, been very well received. I had a lot of people contact me who worked on the boat and people who were accident investigators and stuff like that. And they were telling me about how they enjoyed the show, the video and everything like that. So that was really nice. But by the way, if you haven't seen it, you should go and check it out. I'll put links in all the usual places. But one of the things that keeps coming up is, and one of the most frequently mentioned comment is the fact that they think it was some sort of insurance fraud scheme and the crew were in on it and all that kind of stuff. And I have to say, the idea of being on a ship in the Aegean in rough weather at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and thinking to myself, someone's offered me money to sink this vessel that I'm on, that the only thing that's keeping me alive right now is this vessel I'm on. The idea to sink it for money, when you're on a vessel, it doesn't matter how much money you've been offered, the idea, it just goes against everything you've ever known as a seaman, to want to actually sink that vessel from beneath your feet, not knowing if you'll even make it out alive. So the idea of that happening is very unlikely. And what I've written down in my notes here is to never underestimate incompetence. And I don't mean that against anyone if they feel that it was beyond their control, but the idea is that you can have a series of errors, and this is what happens in accident investigations. They always say there was a series of mistakes or errors or issues, failures that culminated in this thing happening. And I think that is probably the likely scenario here. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's a really good series of videos. But anyway, I just wanted to say that on camera today. Continuing with that theme, one of the other most frequently comments I get is I made a video, I think it must have been over a year ago now, and I made it here in Genoa, and I made a video called "Why Are So Many Super Yachts for Sale?" And one of the comment that keeps coming up almost every day is people say the best day when you buy a yacht, and then the next best day is when you sell it. And you know, that might be the case for people who are working people like myself. Like I might buy a small boat and then I just put loads of money into it and I can't afford the payments, and then I sell it and then I'm happy. I was happy when I bought it and I'm happy when I sold it. I understand that comment. However, the people who buy these big super yachts, 100 meters and stuff like that, they have so much money. The amount of money they put into these yachts is quite significant. And it's really hard for me to be able to put it into perspective, but when I worked on one of the largest yachts they ever worked on, I thought that this boat was, you know, one of the big things in his life, that he would be putting all this money into it and it must be on his mind all the time. Until I visited one of the estates where he lived in the south of France, and it was massive. And when I left his private pier and was sailing back to the boat, the super yacht that I worked on, after we'd been we were in a Zodiac, and after we'd been going for about 10 minutes, the guy in the boat, I was relatively new at the time, the guy in the boat said to me, "This is still the boss's property." So we'd been going at sea, we'd been doing like 20 knots for about 10 minutes, and we were still not away from the boss's property. It was huge. then it dawned on me that the boat was just a toy, in the same way that my 911 is just a toy, you know. It's not even the same, because to me it is a toy, but the amount of money I put into my 911 in comparison to what he puts into his boat is, from me, is higher. I put more of what I have as total into my 911 that he puts into his massive 130 meter boat. So yeah, it wasn't until I saw that property with the underground car garage and all this kind of stuff that I realized that the boat is just a toy. Moving on, I recently, very recently, this is all about comments, by the way. Very recently, I made a video about Planet 9, and I talked about Planet 9, the vessel, and I talked about various different things. And one of the things I mentioned in the video is the reason why it's good to have a helicopter hangar, because the helicopter, they can lower the helicopter into that hangar, and it reduces the center of gravity. Because the helicopter sat out on deck, apart from the fact that it's exposed to the elements and salt water, etc. And also when you're in rough weather, you have to strap it down. There's always that possibility that the helicopter could slide off and fall into the water, damage the vessel as it goes in. But also putting it in that hangar, which is lower down, it lowers that weight, so it reduces the roll of the boat. Now, I got quite a few comments on that video saying that, you know, people who was obviously Googled the weight of that helicopter and said, well, it only weighs 2,100 pounds, therefore it won't make that much difference. Well, you'd be surprised how much difference it would make. And one of the things that a super yacht does, even the big super yachts, is when they go to sea, they drain the pools, because it's that weight, whilst it's at anchor, is fine, but at sea, the weight of that pool will drastically alter the stability of the vessel. So anything like that the pool will be drained, and they have tanks low down where they'll drain that water into those tanks to lower that center of gravity. So the same thing goes for the helicopter. All right, guys, so I don't know where I am with the 5 minutes. I'm suspecting I've already blown through it. Okay, so the last thing is, unbelievably, it's almost that time for me to head home back to the UK. It's been almost 2 months I've been here. It has absolutely flown by. I don't know where the time has gone. I had all these ideas for all these videos I was going to film while I was here. And unfortunately, I've not been able to do all of the ones that I wanted to do. Part of that is because there are still limits with travel because of COVID. I desperately want to go back to Monaco. It's one of my favorite places. Even though I'm just 2.5 hours away, I still can't go there. So I'd have to go into isolation and all that kind of stuff to cross if I crossed over into France. So unfortunately, I can't do that right now. Yeah, it's almost that time to go home. I'm going to be filming the trip on the way home like I did in the previous one. Hopefully I won't run out of fuel this time. If you haven't seen those videos, check out my other channel. I'll put a link everywhere, all the places that you normally put links. Stupidly, I'm sitting here, and then I just glanced down at my fuel, and the fuel says 0, and the light is orange. I had quite an adventure last time I went home, but I do have something in the boot of my car, which you'll see in that video, or if you watch the new video I produced, you'll see that will prevent me from running out of fuel in the future. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing another Q&A. I did a Q&A on the last trip home, and I actually really enjoyed doing it, and it actually took up so much time to film it that it made the trip go that much quicker. I think it was one of the reasons also I forgot to put fuel in the car, because I was so busy filming.
Come on, have you ever been propositioned by any lady yacht owner or guest?
But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ask you to ask me some questions. If you put the questions below, if you put the hashtag Italy #2 UK trip, and and then ask your question, and then I can find them easily, and then I will do my best to answer those on the way home. But I hope you will join me on the other channel. I'll put the question and answers on this channel, obviously. You can ask me any questions. You can ask me questions about cars. If you don't know already, I'm going to be picking up my new car when I go home. I'm picking up a new Porsche. You can check that out on my other channel. There's information about that already on the other channel. But if you watch the other channel, if you go and subscribe to the other channel, you will be able to see me actually collect that new car, which is going to be on the 30th of this month, yeah, which is a week on Wednesday. So I'm going to go and collect the car. You can see that on the other channel. I will put the road trip will be on the other channel. The Q&A will be on this channel. I will put notices everywhere, so don't worry if you didn't follow it just now in this video. One other thing, on Wednesday night, I went to the first day of the Miglia, which is the 1,000 miles. It literally means 1,000 miles in Italian, and it is a race that has been done since 1927 in Italy. 1927 to 1957, they had the Miglia, which was the original race, which was an actual race, a road race. There were 2 fatalities in 1957 and the race was cancelled. And since 1977, they've basically been doing reenactments where the original cars, any car that originally took place in the Miglia from 1927 to 1957, those cars automatically qualify to be involved in the new ones. So as a result, you get to see some amazing cars. One of the standout cars for me on Wednesday was a 1952 Ferrari 340 Spider America. A multi-million-dollar car on the roads, fantastic. Anyway, I filmed a lot of it. It was quite an impromptu trip and I wasn't actually expecting to film, so I didn't have a lot of my equipment, but I filmed with my camera that I had with me on my phone, and I'm going to edit it and put it on my other channel. I'm also going tomorrow, this is a 5-Minute Friday, on Saturday, I'm also going to Brescia, which is in northern Italy, to see the last day of the Miglia, and I'm hoping to film some more, and I will put it on the channel as soon as I get the chance to edit it. Anyway guys, there's a lot of information to put into this video because I haven't done this for so long. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, put them below. If you haven't subscribed to my other channel, it's called eSysman Tech. I'll put it on the screen. I'll put a link in the description below so you can find it. Please do go and do that. It'll be great to have you on board. I've got almost 5,000 subscribers now on that channel. I'd really like to get it up to 10,000. It would be great. But anyway, regardless, I've got some good videos on there, some stuff about my cars and stuff like that, and some technical stuff. It's meant to be a tech channel. I did a review of a new computer I got recently, so check it out. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, 10 points. Have a great weekend. I surely will have a great weekend in Brescia watching these cars, and I'll catch you soon on the channel. All right guys, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.